is a devastating fighting machine that gave nightmares to the Pakistan defense establishment and made them look weak and ineffective. Pakistan's own Prime Minister said that the IAF and its firepower even prevented the Pakistanis from retaliating, as it rendered them totally inert. Even though we played out the Pakistan Prime Minister's comments last evening on this show, it gives some sadistic delight, viewers, to listen to them again. Listen in, just listen in, because I'm going to set up the debate around this comment.
9th and 10th night, we decided to respond in a measured fashion to Indian aggression, and we had decided that at 4:30 in the morning after Fajr prayers, Pakistan armed forces teach a lesson to our enemy. But before that hour reached, India again launched missile attacks, BrahMos.
Now, viewers, you're going to see three different sets of pictures on your screen. Keep the one with Rahul Gandhi holding the Rafale in his hand in mind, because I'll come to it in just a few moments. You'll get the context. Viewers, you heard Shehbaz Sharif there. The unfortunate part is that while Pakistan is admitting to the IAF's dominance, the Congress party is hell-bent on counting the IAF's losses. In a question that is devoid of merit and replete with malignancy, ideological malignancy, viewers, the Congress is asking Prime Minister Modi for answers on the alleged losses of Rafales that the IAF is supposed to have suffered. Listen in, viewers.
Cantonment, mana parliament నియోజకవర్గంలో ఉంది. సికింద్రాబాద్ కంటోన్మెంట్ అంటే ఈ దేశ భద్రతకు గుండెకాయ. ఈ రోజు ఇక్కడ ఉన్న సైనికులే ఈ యుద్ధంలో పాల్గొని ఈ తెలంగాణలో ముఖ్యంగా ఇక్కడ తయారు చేసిన యుద్ధ విమానాలే ఈ రోజు యుద్ధంలో దేశం యొక్క గౌరవాన్ని నిలబెట్టినాయి. మోడీ గారు తెచ్చిన రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు మన పాకిస్తాన్ కూల్చింది. ఎన్ని కూల్చిందో రాఫెల్ గురించి చెప్పమంటే ఈ రోజు చర్చ లేదు. ఈ రోజు మన దేశంని కాదని ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలను కొనుగోలు చేసిన మోడీ గారు మీరు జవాబు చెప్పండి.
He's saying, Modi, tell me how many Rafales were brought down by Pakistan. Has the Congress forgotten about the IAF DGMO, who has already set the record straight on this matter? In case, viewers, the Congress has forgotten, in case perhaps some of the others watching this show have forgotten, here is ACM A.K. Bharti. Listen to this when he was making those presentations.
Have we achieved our objectives? Have we achieved our objective of decimating that terrorist camp? And the answer is a thumping yes. And the results are for the whole world to see. As for the details, what could have been, how many numbers, which platform did we lose? You know, at this time, I would not like to comment on that, because we are still in a combat situation. And if I comment on anything, it will only be adversary. So we don't want to give him any advantage at this stage.
Now, viewers, the IAF doesn't need certificates after the very visible damage it has inflicted upon the Pakistanis. But even so, let's quickly recall the assessments made by the world's top military experts. Here's Walter Ladwig, strategic expert. He says IAF demonstrated a credible capacity to identify and destroy terrorist-linked infrastructure. Operations penetrated Pakistan's Chinese-supplied air defense network to target select air bases for the first time since 1971 war. The mere fact the Indian Air Force could strike targets under defended conditions and undertake follow-on attacks demonstrates its capacity for coercive precision operations, unquote. So here is a thumbs up to the power of nth, viewers. Christopher Clary, strategic expert says Pakistan has a serious vulnerability to Indian air attack. India's integrated air and missile defense system appears to have largely defeated several waves of Pakistani drones. Indian air and missile defense systems appears to have worked against limited Pakistani short-range ballistic missile attacks. It's not as if the Congress is unaware, viewers, of all these expert analysis. Yet it seems unwilling to accept the IAF's dominance. It is even suggesting that had Rahul Gandhi been the Prime Minister, the outcome would have been entirely different. That with Rahul Gandhi as Prime Minister, Pakistan would have been balkanized. Really? A little rich, viewers, think about it, coming from a party that couldn't even scrap Article 370. A little rich coming from a party that accepted the status quo. And there are some graphics that I'm going to fire, viewers, and you will see what I mean. So they had a problem scrapping Article 370. This is a party that accepted the status quo, giving up on reclaiming parts of J&K, which are today called POK, snatched by Pakistan in 1947 October, invasion of Jammu and Kashmir, by running to the United Nations Security Council. Here is a party that didn't claim, if you just press the continue button on that graphic, viewers, didn't claim territory captured by the Indian Army. Viewers, can you believe it, in the 65 war, or even act against Pakistan after the 26/11 attacks? This is the party we are talking about. Indira Gandhi didn't press home the advantage. 93,000 POWs. She could have easily got anything she wanted. POK. Viewers, with benefits, Balochistan could also have been brought back. We know why the Congress wants answers on IAF's alleged Rafale losses, viewers. And that's because Rahul Gandhi has never recovered from the humiliating loss of face he suffered when the Supreme Court rejected claims made by the Congress ecosystem that Modi's NDA had allegedly cheated the nation by purchasing the Rafales from France. Now, viewers, he wants the world to think that the Rafales failed so that Rahul Gandhi was right. Viewers, forgetting that, of course, his government was negotiating contracts, and the only reason that deal didn't go through was because, viewers, of the specter of corruption that was allegedly hovering over that deal. Today's party is indulging in petty one-upmanship. But at whose cost, viewers? The IAF's reputation and the national interest? Fundamental questions. Let's ask them without delay, viewers. We have a very good panel tonight. We have with us some very erudite spokespeople. And of course, we have with us Smita Prakash, a journalist who's covered extensively foreign affairs. She knows the insides, outsides of a lot of politics. She's spoken to a lot of people. There's always General Bakshi, who's going to bring out the soldier's point of view. And I want to begin actually with Mr. Jain. And it's a straightforward question, Mr. Jain. What are you doing? What is the Congress party doing?
Rahul,
one second. You heard the DGMO, did you not?
Absolutely.
And so you have to allow me once a small request. You're sitting in the studio, so if you keep talking and you talk louder and louder, I won't be able to control you. So stick to limits, stick to time limits, and when I ask you to please stop, please do. But, you know, Mr. Jain, you heard the DGMO. Actually, you know, let's do one thing. Instead of coming to you, let's listen to a soldier. Actually, that would be much better. Because, you know, you'd understand why the nation is so upset with the Congress asking this question. And I want to bring in General G.D. Bakshi, a person who's taken bullets for this country, whose family has suffered losses. Now, General Bakshi, the Congress has demanded that the Prime Minister must come out and declare how many losses the IAF has suffered of the Rafale variety. Now, we know the history with Rahul Gandhi, his love and hate for the Rafale, etc., etc. How do you view this? Because there are some people who say that this is actually going to precipitate a bit of a crisis because it gives the adversary insight into operational details. So what do you make of this, General Bakshi?
Look, I thought the IAS has put in a spectacular performance, and very frankly, my personal view is that this performance has been underplayed even by our government. But now to cap it all, dash it, we have this constant sniping. Tell us how many planes you lost, tell us how many planes you lost. There seems to be a bloodlust that will be satisfied only when there are some of our boys dead and Air Force boys dead. Don't wish us so ill, man. I mean, वैमनस्य की भी जिसको बोलते हैं ना हद होती है. Don't wish your own Air Force so much ill will. This is not on. You know, the fact of the matter is, Rahul, we have shot down on the ground and in the air 14 Pakistani aircraft, including 8 F-16s, including 2 Saab airborne early warning, 2 Mirages, 1 IL-78 refueler, 1 C-130. You aren't interested in these? You're only interested in what our Air Force has suffered? And to cap it all, you know, the problem is, Rahul, our Air Force has used the decoy aircraft like the Banshees, like the pilotless target aircraft Lakshay, you know, and the which carry the electronic payloads with the signature, with the electronic signature of our Rafale Su-30s and this thing. And when Pakistan was crowing that it has shot down 5, 6 Indian aircraft, including 3 Rafales and what have you, most of the things they had shot down were these decoys. Quite obviously, our Air Force did not want to let them in on this little trick that they had played. But here you are insisting that next time we will not be able to use this trick.
Oh my, that is, so are you suggesting that by declaring these losses, General Bakshi, we would be remiss to the point of being even anti-national because we would be giving away an important tactical maneuver that we might have conducted? I'm not trying to confirm anything. General Bakshi has also been very, very clear about what he is saying, but if you use decoys, viewers, you don't want the Pakistanis to know that, do we? You want them to think the worst, because that's clever strategy, and therefore the DGMO said, look, we cannot reveal this. Operation Sindoor is ongoing. You never know when it flares up again. General Bakshi, is that what you're suggesting? This is an anti-national question, in fact? Let me just be blunt.
No, because you know, wait for your Air Force, give them the time, they'll come out with it. They'll come out with it when they have to, but when they have to hide certain secrets like the gambits that they used, you are making sure that they spill it out, and they have had to spill it out. They've had to spill it out just to, you know, safeguard their reputation and good fair name, etc. You see, we've done terrific damage, Rahul. 9 terrorist bases flattened, reduced to rubble, mitti mein mila diya.
You can see the pictures.
Out of the 12 air bases, 11 knocked out, 4 radars knocked out, 2, you know, mobile air defense controlling units knocked out. Then we've hit the entrances of their nuclear weapon storage sites. Rahul, the Israeli Air Force, the American Air Force has been talking of doing that to Iran. They haven't been able to do it as yet. You've done it.
You've done it.
Half of it has been buried under the carpet. I don't know for what reason. Okay. But the simple fact is that now you are trying to make sure that our Air Force, despite all their stellar achievements, our outstanding achievements, now the foreign experts are, you know, are coming grudgingly forward to say that, listen to Tom Cooper, listen to Ladwig, listen to John Spencer. Look at what the American experts, the Austrian experts, the British experts are saying. India has won a clear-cut victory. Clear-cut victory.
But you want to underwrite it. You want to undermine it. Okay, let me bring in Smita Prakash. I'm not deliberately going to the Congress viewers because let's get a sense. Smita Prakash, why do you think our Congress friends are so interested in the Rafale, so-called, alleged Rafale losses? No one has confirmed it from the Indian government side. Even the DGMO said these are, you know, operational details. I can tell you all our pilots are back at base. So why are they so interested? Is there some lobby that they want to appease, some American lobby, some Chinese lobby, by discrediting Rafale, by making this whole story up that it's not an effective weapon system, aircraft, etc. What is going on here? I'm not understanding. Can you explain?
That's not what's been said by the Congress, by the way.
No, you said how many other
Absolutely
losses?
not.
Tell us the losses. Why are you so interested in the losses? One second, let's Smita Prakash. Why are they wanting to know? I just want to know. I'm conjecturing here. I'm completely bewildered. General Bakshi says that if you give details, and that man is a qualified military man, sir, he's taken a bullet. Let's have some respect, sir. Salute you, sir. The point is, Smita Prakash, what does the Congress gain by getting this information? Titillation? I don't know. What can it be?
So it's the one aspect is it's the hangover of the 2019 election. They tried their level best during the 2019 election. If you remember, they made montages, they made effigies of those Rafale aircraft, carried it along. It didn't work. They lost the 2019 election. People were not willing to believe it. So it's that hangover. If you notice that the Congress leadership doesn't let go of a narrative, even if that narrative has crashed. Chaukidar Chor Hai crashed. In spite of that, they would keep repeating it. Rafale crashed. Rafale narrative crashed for them. In spite of that, they kept repeating it. So they just keep love to bring this thing up. Even though time and again it's been said, which General Bakshi also said, for the past 2 weeks it's been repeated that we are still in the state, the Operation Sindoor is still on. It's not over. My guess is, Rahul, that, this 72-hour conflict, it's going to be termed as a short, sharp war in the years to come.
Yes.
There was this whole talk that there will not be, after looking at the Russia-Ukraine war, that there will be no short wars in the future. Everybody was writing these war doctrines, and here comes India and this short, sharp war. In the years to come, there will be study about this. As far as the losses are concerned, I think General Bakshi is right. It will come to the fore. Somehow or the other, it will come to the forefront as to what fell if it did fall. There will be concrete proof. There will be satellite imagery. There will be wreckage if at all it has fallen. And what has fallen, that will come out. And my guesstimate out here is that it will be made clear during the parliament session, which is the way it should be done. It's not on TV debates that an Air Force officer will come and do it, or in the Press Information Bureau briefing room, he'll say, okay, we lost 1 or 2 or 3 aircraft. No, that's not how he will do it. We are in a state of conflict even now.
I'm asking you, Smita Prakash, what is the fascination? I'm just going to keep those pictures on air. Look at the kind of evil grin on that other chap's face, that Ajay Rai or whatever. I don't know what is his name? That other Congress fellow, insignificant chap from Uttar Pradesh. What is this guy's name?
Ajay Rai?
Yes, look at the look on his face. He's so delighted in belittling the Rafale. No, I'm sorry, sir.
But that's not
this comes across as very bad. Okay? Anyhow, it comes across as sick, actually. This is something that Pakistanis would do. In fact, this man featured on Pakistani news channels. But Smita Prakash, please answer. What is the fascination of the Congress party with the runt end of the details? Why do they want to know, if at all, how many Rafales have been lost? What is the objective here? I don't understand this.
So, more than Ajay Rai pointing that out, I'm more concerned that the Telangana Chief Minister also made the facile comment that he did, saying that if it had been Rahul Gandhi, he would have got POK back, and how many Rafale have fallen. It's disgusting that a Chief Minister would do that. But at the same time, I want to point out that while on one side you have these kind of comments coming from the Congress party, on the other side you have a Salman Khurshid, you have a Shashi Tharoor, you have an Anand Sharma, you have a Ghulam Nabi Azad, who have gone and place the Indian point of view across the world, and talking about narrative building, diplomatic outreach, presenting the Indian perspective in such an agreeable and acceptable manner for the international community. And the bench strength in the Congress regarding foreign policy is very strong. So there have been former foreign ministers out there, and they've done such a good job, bipartisan support completely. And then you have facile comments like the one that you have shown.
Okay. So now, very quickly, Mr. Jain, and let's get the political players in. The BJP's national spokesperson is here with us. Mr. Gawande of the NCP, Sharad Pawar, is here with us. I want to ask you, Mr. Jain, what's the fascination? Why do you want to know? Why is he so interested in how many Rafales came down?
Rahul, I think the fascination, Rahul Shivshankar, I think Rahul Gandhi's fascination is not with just the Rafale, but holding the government to account. So you're just focusing on the Rafale question.
I'm asking the Rafale question. That is what we are considered with today. I'm not talking about the ceasefire and the hellfire and the...
No, but that's important, Rahul.
No, I'm not. We are today very focused on the Rafale question, and I don't want you to take some little road down, some little alley and get away.
You have to cut some slack to your namesake.
Please, what do you mean? I have to ask you... Mr. Revanth Reddy.
You started the conversation.
Reddy's question is very, very limited. He says, how many Rafales came down? So please
Fair
answer,
enough.
why do
Fair
you want
enough.
to know?
Let me answer you on, you started the debate by asking me a very important question. What was the Congress doing? They were doing their job as the principal opposition party, holding the government to account.
I didn't ask you that question. I said, why
you did
are
ask
you
me that question. I have it written. Rahul,
why
I've
do you
been sitting
want
with
to
you.
know? No, I said, what
Why
are you
do we
doing
want
by
to know?
asking this question?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. When you have a government that is trying to politicize a military operation, that is not coming out clean with the nation about why and how does the US have the audacity to tell the world that they are the ones who negotiated a ceasefire, when in the past India has never entertained any other third party between the issue of India and Pakistan. This is the reason
so
that
one
important
second,
questions.
Mr. Jain, important. This is an important point. The ceasefire issue, you can ask. No doubt about it. There is a relevance to that. Ask that question. But coming back, who told you that Rafales came down?
There have been multiple reports in
By whom?
international media.
By whom?
There have been multiple
Which
reports.
media? Show
CNN.
me.
There is a
CNN.
CNN. There's a report.
CNN. Viewers, note what he
CNN
says.
News 18.
CNN.
I'm on CNN News 18.
No.
And
There's no.
There's a report
CNN.
in international
Please,
CNN.
please.
I'll
I'm
share the
talking
article
about
link with you.
CNN. No, I'm asking you. We might have quoted CNN International. We didn't report this story because we don't believe it.
No.
One.
I'm not talking
two.
about CNN News 18.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the CNN International website.
CNN
putting
International
out
viewers.
Putting out a story
CNN
using
International. CNN International is this man's benchmark. Okay.
Can I come in?
CNN International.
Rahul,
Yes.
It's not
Smita
just,
Prakash
it's
wants
not
to come
just
in.
the CNN. Multiple news
Who
outlets
else?
have reported.
Who else?
Can I come
Which
in?
outlets? Which outlets? Name the
Multiple news
outlets.
outlets have reported and
Name. I want the name of the outlets. You believe the news outlets, viewers?
you give
Over
me-
your IAF?
No. I want to come
Who
in.
are these
No,
people
no.
writing
IAF
these news
never denied
outlets?
that.
Who
Rahul,
is writing the
Rahul,
news?
that's the
Who
important
is
point.
writing the news?
Rahul,
They said
that's
all
the
our
important
pilots are
point.
back.
Rahul,
They said
that's-
all
no,
our
no.
pilots are back.
Rahul, you'll have
They
to-
said all the
You'll
pilots
have
are
to give me
back.
30 seconds. You'll have to give me 30 seconds.
Please.
The IAF or the DGMO or the Air Marshal never refuted or denied that we've lost
You
or
know,
not
viewers, the
lost
only
any
government that has said that we have lost Rafales is Pakistan.
No. Rahul,
Pakistan.
Rahul, when a pertinent direct question was asked to the Air Marshal by a
Can I
Hindu
come in?
journalist in India during the press
No.
briefing whether a
Don't-
Rafale has
don't-
been
I
lost.
played out what
there
the man
was-
said.
Yes.
That
I
achieved
heard that,
military
as did your
objectives.
viewers. I heard that, as did your
So-
viewers. There is
so-
no denial.
so
And let's
then-
understand how diplomacy
No,
works.
what do you
Let's
mean
understand
diplomacy?
how these things work.
One second,
When
Mr.
there is
Jain.
no denial,
changing
but
it.
there are
He's at
multiple
CNN.
credible reports in international media
Which
that
credible?
Rafale has fallen
Who's
down,
credible? Who's
the
credible
likelihood-
today?
the
Who's
likelihood
credible
that the world is
today?
going to-
Show me the report.
Can I just
Show
come
me
in?
the report.
Give me 2 minutes.
Show me the
Give me
report.
2 minutes.
Take
I'm
3.
going to- no,
Show me
give
the
me 2
report.
minutes.
I'm
Yes.
going to
show you the report.
Yes,
Please.
Smita Prakash wants to come in. Show me the report. Who is this media that they are constantly quoting? Yes, Smita.
Can I come in,
Yeah,
please?
yeah,
Can I
yeah,
come in?
please.
Look, this CNN. So Rahul, please give me half a minute.
Yes.
What happened is CNN has a reporter in
Right.
Islamabad, right? Nick Robertson. He's the
Yes.
reporter. Who does he quote? He quotes Pakistani officials because he's based in Islamabad.
Wonderful.
He says that that Islamabad says that X number of Indian aircraft have been brought down. Then that gets picked up by other news portals across the world, which says CNN says that Indian aircraft has come down. No, the reporter said that. Pakistan says that it has brought down Indian aircraft, but the other news portals which pick up CNN
Here it is,
do not
viewers.
say that
Exactly
the
what she
original
has said.
source was
This is it.
Pakistan.
This is it.
Another
This is it.
thing,
This
another
is it.
thing, Rahul,
India,
just
no,
give me
hang on.
10
I've just
seconds
got
more.
this. I've
Rahul,
got
give
this.
me 10
I've got
seconds
this.
more.
I've got this. I just
10
want to
seconds
bolster what
more.
your point is. Smita Prakash, I've got the
Yeah.
proof. Here it is in my hand. India strikes deep inside Pakistan. Pakistan claims 5 Indian jets shot down in major escalation. CNN
Forget what
viewers
Pakistan
international.
is claiming. No, Rahul.
Pakistan says it.
Yeah.
Forget what Pakistan
There
says.
it is, viewers.
No.
There it is on your screens.
Nobody can.
These people are believing Pakistan.
No, why forget? You
Indian
just
Rafale
quoted
shot down
CNN.
by Pakistan. French intelligence source tells
Who?
CNN.
Intelligence source? French intelligence source? Who are these people? Why aren't they on record? Why
Of
are they
which country?
sources?
Intelligence
Yes,
sources
Smita
which
would be
Prakash.
on record.
No,
Wonderful.
why not?
Which
Government
country?
sources
Oh, come
do
on.
not like
Which
to come on
government?
record
Which
and you're
government has
asking-
said it?
Of
Which
which
government has said
country?
it? Viewers,
No,
listen to
government is
this.
going
to say that. Rahul, no government
Smita
is going to
Prakash
say
wants
that.
to come in
I
and I want to go
don't
to the
understand.
BJP.
This is the-
No, Rahul, I don't
This is
understand
what
why are we
happens.
only focusing on Rafale?
Because
Why
that
are we
is the
not
only
focusing-
question.
No, why are we
happens?
not focusing on the
Confirmation
security
bias.
lapses? Why are we
This
not
is
focusing on the
exactly-
fact that 5 terrorists gunned down 26 people
No,
in this
hang
country?
on. Don't
On the grounds of religion?
change changed goalposts.
The Prime Minister and the
You are
BJP is going
changing
around
goalposts
saying,
out
"हम
here.
सिंदूर बांटेंगे
You
महिलाओं
are
में."
changing
आप पहले
goalposts
उन
out
सिंदूर
here.
का बदला लीजिए जिन 5 लोगों ने
You
मारा
are
था।
changing
आपने उन्हें
goalposts.
पकड़
You
नहीं पाए।
said
You have
CNN
a
and you
great
said
foreign policy
international
failure.
media.
You have a
The
great foreign
international
policy
media
failure.
is putting
You're
out
having to
fake
gather
news
up
quoting
opposition MPs to
quoting
put your views
Islamabad,
forward.
and you
even
are
when they're
in
putting
effect
their views forward,
quoting
you are using
Islamabad
that for your
sources,
domestic politics.
intelligence
When a
sources. You
Congress
are
MP
quoting
says something
ISI
which the Indian
over
government
Indian
asks them
air
to say
marshals.
internationally, you use that to
You are
target your
quoting-
own domestic political parties. That is the problem with the BJP. And let's look at their past
One
records.
second.
Your viewers must see this.
One
Your
second.
viewers
Can I
must
ask
see
you a
this.
question? Can I ask you a question?
Rahul, you must also
It's
see
okay,
this.
just question.
2
Listen,
days
listen.
after the 2008
Listen,
terrorist
sir.
attack, vote
Listen,
for
sir.
BJP. This is
yes,
a terrorist
it's okay,
attack.
it's fine. Listen to me. The Congress party made 3 political campaigns around Indira Gandhi and the 71 war.
Yes.
Congress president of that time, D.K. Barua, said, India is Indira. Indira is India.
I don't agree with this statement.
You don't agree, but he said it, right? Vajpayee, he came out and said, Ma Durga's incarnation is Indira. All the credit went to Indira.
And
Viewers,
Field Marshal
they
Manik
today
Shaw
also say
and
that,
the Indian
oh,
Army.
where Manik Shaw is some shadow
don't
in
say
your,
that, don't
shadow
say
in
that.
your
No, 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 no.
narrative. Shadow.
Rahul, don't
Everything
no,
the Congress has said
don't
is,
disrespect-
on the last
don't
few days, oh, come
disrespect the
on,
most
you made him a
celebrated soldier of the
shadow.
country.
Like you made Patel
You
a
have a
shadow.
Manik
Like
Shaw
you made
center.
Savarkar
What
a
are you
shadow.
saying?
Like you made several people
The most
shadows.
important
You
road
didn't
in
even
the
give them,
diplomatic enclave
you
of the
didn't
country
even
is
give
named
them,
after
you
Sardar
didn't
Patel.
even give
One
them,
of the biggest
you
convention
didn't even
centers in
give,
the Delhi
you
camp is
didn't
named
even
after Manik Shaw.
give, sir, don't shout over me, you didn't even give Dr. Ambedkar
What?
the Bharat Ratna, viewers. They gave,
Rahul-
Rajiv Gandhi gave himself one.
Rajiv Gandhi
Can you
did not
believe it?
give himself a Bharat Ratna, first of all.
Well, okay,
he was
one second.
awarded
Let
that
me open
posthumously
this.
for dying.
Yes. Let
for
me
dying,
just
being
let me
killed by
just open.
terrorists.
Let me just open this up. Let me just open this up, viewers. The question remains: why are they so interested in finding about how many Rafales we lost? So let me get the BJP in. I'm sorry, the BJP has to sit and watch from the sidelines because it got a bit heated. So I'm sorry, but please, sir. Ajay Alok ji, please, why are you calling this question an anti-national question? And the Congress says, why are you only focusing on this question? Can you now explain to our viewers?
First of all, I would like to say, thank you, Rahul. You let that congressman speak so much. Because the more they speak, the more the truth will come out and more your viewers will understand that what is the Congress perspective here. They still like to believe that they are still living in the Joseph Goebbels era. That you keep on speaking lie and negative propaganda and it will work someday. And they have been failing miserably for the last 11 years, but they still don't understand because the kind of leadership they have, I can understand the lack of grey matter and how it works. They don't believe the army, they don't believe Air Force, they don't believe the Navy, they don't believe DGMO, they believe only one person in this world, that is Rahul Gandhi. When in 2019, Rafale, then Rafale with all those Nimbu Mirchi stuff. And if you remember, right on 23rd, Mr. Robert Vadra came up and he said that Pahalgam happened because minorities are being crushed here in India and there is a growing resentment among minorities in India and that's why they did it after asking the caste. This was the Robert Vadra's line, not mine. And repeatedly after 22nd, every second day, the Congress used to come with something or the other. Now the question comes up, Rahul Gandhi asks how many Rafale were shot down. Revanth Reddy says how many Rafale were shot down. They are more interested in that. I don't know why. They want to put the stakes of Rafale down or they want to put the stakes of J-35 up. What is the commercial purpose behind it?
J-35.
This is absolutely anti-national.
BJP comes out with the J-35 angle. Mr. Gawande, is this... No, there's a simple question to you, Mr. Gawande, and I always keep it simple with you. Yes or no? Very simple. Yes or no, sir? Should we wait for the IAF to declare? Should we just wait for them?
We've said that we need to wait to ask any questions of the government.
No, I'm not talking about the government here. The question, one second, I asked you, should we,
you don't feature them on your channel.
Okay,
Pawar Sahib has said repeatedly that national security is not a measure for, is not a topic for national television. That at this point, when India is under attack, we don't respond as political parties, we respond as Indians.
So when the Congress is asking how many Rafales came down, are they politicizing or not politicizing?
The all-party meeting, which was called by the Prime Minister, reaffirmed its faith in the Prime Minister. After that,
So, Mr.
opposition parties have
Gawande,
taken
that's the
individual
point
stances.
I'm getting to.
Our
Very good
stance
point
has
to
been
make. Can I ask you, if that is indeed the case, why is the opposition, specifically the Congress party, I don't believe the NCP has, as Sharad Pawar has asked this question, why has the Congress asked of the Prime Minister to declare the number of Rafales that have been allegedly shot down? On baseless question, because there is no confirmation of this. We don't even know. Why do you think they've done it? Can you answer?
No, my simple point here, Rahul, is that the opposition has stood united in the all-party meeting.
Yes, so,
After that, I
do you
cannot
agree with the
comment on
question?
individual
Okay,
parties and their
so,
stances.
oh, that's
But
very
I can
interesting.
tell you one
No,
thing.
one second,
Rahul,
now
let me
just,
tell you
no,
one
one
thing.
second.
We demean
One
our
second,
democracy. Let me go back to Smitaji. At a time when Congress party MPs are fanning out across the globe, along with leaders like Supriyatai, defending our Prime Minister, defending this government, defending our armed forces and defending this country. It's unfortunate that we focus on these questions rather.
It's unfortunate that we focus on these questions. Smita Prakash, respond.
Can I come in?
Yes,
that
respond.
We stand united against terror.
Okay, respond.
No, I just want to come in on this fake news narrative. It's extremely important about Rafale and the fake news narrative that Pakistan has put out. You know, General Bakshi is here on the show, and he will tell you about POWs and what happens. You know, the Rafale. What happened was on the first day, Pakistan put out that a Rafale pilot is in our custody.
Yes.
A woman pilot has been caught and she's in our custody. They put this out, and then Pakistani commentators, senior Pakistani commentators went on television and said, "Ye male ghanimat hai." That means spoils of war. That we can use her. I don't want to go into gross details of what they were saying and laughing like hyenas. That got picked up by Al Jazeera to say, 1 minute, let me complete, please. That got picked up by Al Jazeera that a woman Rafale pilot is in the custody of Pakistan. Subsequently, international media put out that a woman pilot has been put in custody. Al Jazeera has quoted it. What did Pakistan do? They pulled down all their tweets and all their information from the web about them saying that the Rafale pilot is in their custody, and they started saying Al Jazeera is saying that a woman pilot is in our custody. After 48 hours, they had to admit that this woman is not in their custody. This is the kind of fake narrative. But then it had already come up in Indian media.
Yes.
There were people in Indian media saying, "Hare, our woman pilot is in their custody." So then I called up Rahul. I called up some senior officers and I said, "Where is this lady? Where is she really? Has she really gone into Pakistan? Has she fallen there?" To which, on sources, I was told, no, she's very much in India. So I said, why don't you show her? She said, are we going to do this?
No,
Every
in fact,
time Pakistan
Indian
says we have a woman,
journalist,
we have a man in custody, are we going to parade them like this?
In fact, an Indian journalist actually got through to her and asked her where she was, and she said, I'm very safe at the base. And that journalist also tweeted it. And thankfully, that journalist got through and tweeted it and corrected the narrative. But I just want to leave you viewers with one thought. I know, Smita Prakash. You see, look at the Congress viewers. It is picking up unverified intelligence sources, this, that. You know why, viewers? And I think it's something that the BJP has mentioned. Who wins brownie points if you suggest that the Rafale did not perform? Who wins that argument, viewers? The F-16 makers, Lockheed Martin. And guess who, viewers? The Chinese. And just parking this thought with you, who signed a secret MOU with the Chinese, viewers? I don't know who, you know. Who is helping whose cause in the international arms market? Questions. I'm not naming anybody. Questions. No one needs to jump down my throat because I'm not naming anyone. Last point, viewers, it's a fact, two facts that I want to leave you with. The 1991 Gulf War, America won hands down. It lost 14 aircraft. Despite being up against a weaker, much weaker opponent in the air, it still lost 14. What difference does that make? Yom Kippur War, Israel lost 102 aircraft. Viewers, 102, Israel still stands. These questions are meaningless. They only serve to further a political agenda, viewers, or someone else's military agenda, or worse, someone else's economic and financial agenda. That's the only reason it's being asked. Let me tell you this. I leave it to this, viewers, because we have a very interesting debate. A paradigm shift is taking place. Let's go straight across. Let's go straight across. Viewers, I want to talk to you about two unprecedented resets that are taking place. The first one on POK and the second one on India's defense output. Now let's talk about the defense output part first. We'll come to POK in just a few moments. Call it what you want. A paradigm shift, a 360-degree reset, but there's no denying that we are very fortunate to be witnessing it. India is no longer just a consumer in the global arms bazaar. It's becoming a supplier of strength, a builder of firepower, and a defense disruptor. A few days ago, news broke that Israel has placed an order with a private Pune-based Indian defense company to supply universal rocket launchers with a range of up to about 300 kilometers. Yes, I'm talking about the same Israel that makes Spike missiles and Barak interceptors. I'm no defense expert, viewers, but even I know an achievement when I see one. Under Prime Minister Modi, India's defense production has not only scaled new heights, it has shattered glass ceilings. Let the facts speak. India's defense production has hit an all-time high of 1,46,000 crores in FY25, which is a 15% jump from last fiscal year. Defense export high at a record high of 24,000 crores. This is a jump of 14% in the last 1 year. Defense exports are pegged at about 600 to 700 crores in FY17. So look at the exponential jump. It was incremental between FY14 and FY17, but exponential after that. Private sector's contribution at over 32,000 crore, about 22% of total defense production. NDA allows private companies to participate in a major defense project alongside PSUs under the AMCA or AMCA program. Indian-made weapons, systems, subsystems, components, service reaching around 100 nations today as we speak. That's what the defense minister has told us. And I've told you about the deal with Israel. Now here's a visual representation of India's defense production growth. The number there on your screens is 2017 number, and you can see where it is, and you can see the worm, the graph, how steeply it has climbed. All this data doesn't suggest just a rise, but a major leap. A leap fueled by reforms, investment, and political will. Now, many people will ask, couldn't this have been done earlier? It's a question worth asking, even though I am not for a moment saying that more can't be done. Even the Air Chief has lamented that there are still big gaps in timely delivery and execution of orders by defense PSUs. But facts are facts, and there's no denying that under Modi's Make in India, Indian arms are on their way to becoming a global product, as I've said, from Armenia to UAE. Critics scoffed when Modi promised self-reliance. You'll all remember this. But he's now exporting it. The question now is not whether India can lead, but it's who's ready to follow. And I want to open this up. We have with us an eminent panel to discuss this, viewers, of people who understand the subject. And I want to begin with General Bakshi. General Saab, how did this turnaround happen? And where is it going to take us? What do we glean from this data?
First of all, Rahul, it has indeed been a paradigm shift. And it has been a paradigm shift driven by indigenous technology. The Navik cluster of satellites, 12 satellites, has given us, our own GPS. We don't need the GPS, we don't need the GLONASS, we don't need the Chinese Bidyao. And our, homegrown Akash Tir system is now been given an accuracy of 1 meter CEP. Both are offensive and defensive system, and the recent victory that we have won is based upon that. But there is also another aspect, Rahul. We are not out of the woods. Operation Sindoor is still very much on. Pakistan has been mauled and is licking its wounds, but it can no longer hide the scale of damage from its own people and from the world. It was under Asif Munir raring to take revenge. The Chinese have been very badly, they've suffered a huge loss of face by the pathetic performance of their weapons, right? Now they are offering to give to Pakistan J-35 stealth fighters, 5th generation stealth fighters at half the cost. Pakistani pilots are already there training. Look, if this round restarts, say in December, say next year, say the year after that, then I'm afraid we can't sit on our laurels. You have clear and present danger. And, you know, the AMCA, which has been opened up to our defense industries, was scheduled to take you 10 years to build and field. Now maybe it will be done in half the time. But what happens if we have to fight in December? What happens if we have to fight next year or the year after that? So we need a stopgap measure till our own homegrown AMCA comes in. We need I understand the Russians have offered us the Su-57, 2 squadrons worth we can buy to fill in the gap because we don't have the time.
That's right.
That is what the air chief was saying. You don't have the time.
Right.
And you better react in time because otherwise we'll be only sitting on our haunches and
so that's an important point.
Ourselves.
That's a very
important point.
important
We are not
point.
out of the woods.
That's very important, and therefore I want to bring in General Pandey. General Pandey, already some are saying that 1 or 2 export deals don't signal global dominance. They're saying that we still rely, for example, on imported components. We still have time lags, delays, etc. So let's not exaggerate our great achievements. What would you say to them?
Okay, Rahul, thank you for having me on this show. But let me start by first few major transformations which are taking place. I hope you are aware that Indian Army scaled Mount Everest, and a few days before NCC scaled Mount Everest. Right? Look at the winning of the women 4x400 relay team. Number of women have participated in winning gold, silver and bronze in Asia. There were 2 women officers of Navy who circumnavigated the entire world and have landed up onto our shores a couple of days back. You look at today, NDA passing out is taking place while the women are being inducted for the first time. The final frontier is being breached. All these things have taken place for one simple reason people may not want to acknowledge, but it has taken place because of political will, right? And that is why the transformation in the defense as well has taken place. We are not out of the woods, we are not there yet. No country is ever there yet. But frankly, the processes which were sluggish and laggard, we used to get GDP, a certain percent of GDP for capital outlays and for revenue expenditure. By end of the financial year, 90%, 70%, 80% of this fund used to go back to the Conservation Fund of India because we could not spend that money, right? Those processes have smoothened out. We had dysfunctional DPSUs which have been corporatized. They are in competition with the private players, with startups, with SMEs. The Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, everything is not only about defense. The whole ecosystem has started playing into our economy and feeding into our economy, which has ensured that our defense industry is also prospering. Right? There are 2 things we have to look at it always. When you have government-controlled DPSUs, it is political. But when you look at private players coming into it, is about efficiency, timeliness, and product delivery times which are being met. So this balance which was required to be done, I can assure you, there were a number of political societal steps which the government has taken in its first tenure, and thereafter it rolled out in the second tenure, which cost them certain degree of votes in its third seats in the third term. So therefore, I will like to put everything, same army, same organization, same bureaucracy, same ecosystem, but what has transformed with what you are talking of today when you started your comments in the earlier part of this conversation is political will. All the time, we in the army, and I can assure you I was part of the senior leadership, we used to only crib and cry that why is the political establishment not stepping in. They have stepped in and they have started ensuring there is efficiency in the market, into the system. The compulsions which have been impacted upon us, while our desire is there that we need to, for as General Bakshi had said so rightly, that the current gaps require to be met by looking outwards. because the technology gap, we have yet far behind the modern nations, and of course at least a decade and a half behind China.
Okay.
But yet that gap needs to be, while it is to be covered, we need to ensure that our industry, our R&D, our private industry flourishes, and we support them so that another 10 years we don't have to look outside for assistance.
Yeah,
the
well,
benchmarks which you just talked of, Israel,
Yeah.
the benchmark of BrahMos being sought after, the benchmark, this, I just wrote a paper today for USI. The strategic outcomes of this 88-hour war, conflict, battle, military punishment, whatever name you want to give, is that the India is being looked at with dismay, with appreciation, with respect, not only for its control of the escalatory ladder and for its responsible behavior, but for its defense industry might, right? So we are not arrived. We are not even fraction of the global market
True.
in terms of export.
True, 2%
But what
or
has
so.
changed again for this export part, and what are the implications for our Indian industry and Indian forces? I just want to quickly give out a couple of points. One is that this ethical dilemma which we have imposed upon us for last about 75 years, that we are not into the military war fighting business, and therefore the gods are going to look down upon us in case we get into sale of. So while we will import equipment from outside, but we will not sell to outside. So this ethical dilemma has been very carefully balanced, it's totally transitioned into the defense export system. There's a huge market.
Okay.
But what is going to be a challenge? A challenge is going to be the military industrial complex of the West, the deep state of US and the China.
I was
And they
going to
are
come
not,
to that
by the way,
point.
going to
I
like
was going to
your
come to
advice.
that point because this is also going to breed a degree of resentment. So just hold your thoughts, because I'll come back to you. I'll circle back to you. I just want everyone's opening comments. Sushant Sareen, how do we solve the delay problem? What about HAL's Tejas delays, DRDO's delivery record? And it's only going to get worse, because if you're going to be reliant a little bit on foreign components, now that foreign players, as General Pandey is saying, are aware of what we can do, they will be a little more grudging in helping us out. Tech transfers may not come as forthcomingly as they were earlier. So how do we get out of this trap now? I think you're on mute, Sushant Sareen. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The reluctance of foreign players or suppliers to supply us in time is not necessarily only because they're envious of whatever progress we might be making, but also for political and other reasons. And we've seen some of that. For example, whatever else the Americans might say, when we talk about the GE engines for the Tejas, it is not just because there were certain problems that GE was facing, but I think there are reasons to believe that there were certain political considerations as well which were at play. So we need to be careful on that count, and which is precisely why this entire concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat means that we need to operationalize it as fast as possible. Now, I completely agree with you. There are a lot of strides that we have made, a lot of successes notched up over the last 8-10 years that we need to celebrate. But I think it is extremely important that we don't rest on our laurels. And as General Pandey very correctly says, we have just started taking baby steps in a particular direction. If you look at many of the defense PSUs, especially the ordnance factories and others, frankly, it leaves a lot to be desired. Even if you look at the HAL and some of these other companies from the defense PSUs, they are not at the cutting edge. And what we need to do is far greater integration of private and public sector. We need much greater accountability. We need to reform our systems, Rahul. You have to get away from that system that everybody's salary in this country will be determined by what the cabinet secretary gets. What the hell does the bloody cabinet secretary do here? What does he give us? He's just sitting and pushing files. So please divorce the payment systems in the government from what IAS officers and then the IPS and the foreign service and everybody else gets, from what a scientist, top-notch scientist or somebody you are pulling in from abroad because of his technical skills is going to get. We need to get out of that system. We need to we need to have much greater accountability of people. For example, and I'm sure people like General Pandey and General Bakshi, maybe even Mr. Deveshwar will back me on this. One of the biggest problems is the kind of financial, obstructions that are put by these guys who are the financial controllers in ministries, and the kind of objections they start raising. And I can tell you of any number of young people in their late 20s, early 30s who have done cutting edge work. In fact, such cutting edge work that their work has now been taken over by foreign companies, and they are being used by them. And our own idiots out here have been giving them the runaround from one government office to another to a third, and half the time they're just pushing files. So until and unless you are going to be able to fix this kind of structural problems which are there, which actually penalize people from being productive, you are not going to get through. Second, and very importantly, look, I think we also need to understand that, there are already people, for example, who are manufacturing rifles in India. Why are the government, why is the army or the other defense or paramilitary organizations not buying those rifles? Why are those rifles only being exported? Are they not good enough? Can they not be made better if they are not as good? The entire way our procurement systems have been figured out leave a lot to be desired. Allow me half a minute or 1 minute more, and I'm sure the generals will bear me out on this. So for example, you will see that the Navy, for example, is far more efficient in procurement than the Army is. One of the reasons is that in the Army, a guy who comes on the procurement cell is working out there for 2 years, maybe max 3 years. By the time he starts understanding the complex procedures, it's time for him to go. Second, he does not necessarily always have the kind of technical expertise to figure out what are the best kind of requirements these guys need. So you need to develop that expertise in-house within the armed forces as well. The Navy and the Air Force have done a much better job than the Army has done.
Okay.
And you cannot link promotions. A person who might have spent 7 or 10 years in the procurement division because he's an expert on this matter, it cannot be held against him, and his promotion cannot be stalled. And one last.
Yeah.
I think the question which we need to all ask as Indian citizens is that our defense budget, for example, and this is notwithstanding the fabulous performance of the defense forces this particular episode, but our defense budget is 10 times the size of the Pakistani defense budget. And yet, when you just look at the on-paper power differential, it's technically 1:3, but then we are ignoring the fact that we also have a China looming over us. So at best, it's 1.5, maybe 1:2 at best. Can somebody explain to me why we are spending 10 times the budget than Pakistan and not getting 10 times the firepower of Pakistan?
Okay.
I need to know this.
So that's an important question. And Tilak Devashay, let me bring you in on this, as well as, of course, Smit Shah, who is a manufacturer, who is, of course, the president of the Drone Federation of India. So I'll bring him into this conversation also. But Tilak Devashay, look, I mean, Sushant Sareen is talking about this budget being 10 times greater, but there is a view, and I think General Pandey talked about it. There's this ideological sort of, fussing about that happens, saying that, defense budgets can't keep ballooning. You also have to have social spending which stagnates, and that is not progress. Arms races don't bring security, they bring escalation. That's the kind of conversation we hear. Now, how do you respond to this and balance also this aspect of it?
Thank you, Rahul. Now, before I come to that, I just want to make 2 points. The change that has happened in the last 10 years, you put out figures right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is that we don't look upon defense as a holy cow which can be handled only by the government. I think the invest or allowing the private sector to play a major role in defense procurement has been a major change that has happened in India. That is what has allowed the private sector to enter. And somebody talked about efficiency, somebody talked about delivery on times. That, I think, is a very important component of why we are where we are. It may be baby steps, but we will only go further by this change in the ecosystem. And secondly, is this socialist hang-up that we've had for so many years, that making money is bad. I think private sector needs to make money. You need to have development, and this can happen only when you liberalize and trust people to do the right thing. Talking about budget, you see, when you compare your budget with the Pakistan budget, as Sushant knows very well, the Pakistan military budget, a lot of it, which is the tail, is hidden in the normal budget. The pensions, the salaries, etc., is put on the civil budget. Whereas in the Indian system, the entire budget, whatever it is out there in the open. So it may seem to be a very inflated budget, but a lot of that budget is being spent on the tail, on pensions, on salaries, and much less on capital development and on procurement and on training. So if you balance that out, it won't seem that your budget is 10 times that of the Pakistan Army.
Presented by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमान योगी आदित्यनाथ जी, केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल के मेरे साथी, यहां उप मुख्यमंत्री केशव प्रसाद मौर्य और श्री ब्रिजेश पाठक जी, उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार में मंत्री, सांसद, विधायक और विशाल संख्या में पधारे हुए कानपुर के मेरे प्यारे भाई और बहनों, एक बच्ची शायद यहां कोई पेंटिंग बना करके जरा एसपीजी के लोग उसे ले ले, उधर भी कोई एक चित्र बना करके लाया है, उस कोने में आप अपना अता पता उस पर लिख देना, मैं चिट्ठी भेजूंगा। एक उधर कोने में कोई नौजवान है, उसका अता पता लिख लीजिए ताकि मैं आपको चिट्ठी लिखूंगा। ये इधर एक बालक कब से हाथ उठा रहा है, तेरे कंधे पर दर्द होगा, आज थक जाओगे। आज कानपुर का उत्साह बड़ा जोरों पर है भाई। उधर कोई जरा फोटोग्राफर उधर देखो, एसपीजी के लोग जरा उस बच्चे को मदद करो। भारत माता की, भारत माता की। कानपुर में विकास का एक कार्यक्रम 24 अप्रैल को होने वाला था, लेकिन पहलगाम हमले के कारण मुझे अपना कानपुर दौरा रद्द करना पड़ा। पहलगाम के कायरना आतंकी हमले में हमारे कानपुर के बेटे शुभम द्विवेदी ने भी इस बर्बरता का वो शिकार हुए। बेटी ऐशन्या की वो पीड़ा, वो कष्ट और भीतर का आक्रोश हम सब महसूस कर सकते हैं। हमारी बहनों बेटियों का वही आक्रोश ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के रूप में पूरी दुनिया ने देखा है। हमने पाकिस्तान में आतंकियों के ठिकाने घर में घुसकर सैकड़ों मील अंदर जाकर तबाह कर दिए। और हमारी सेना ने ऐसा पराक्रम किया कि पाकिस्तानी सेना को गिड़गिड़ाकर युद्ध रोकने की मांग करने पर मजबूर होना पड़ा। स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की इस धरती से सेना के शौर्य को बार बार सैल्यूट करता हूं। मैं फिर कहना चाहता हूं, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान जो दुश्मन गिड़गिड़ा रहा था वो किसी धोखे में न रहे। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. After IMF, it's the World Bank that is giving money to Pakistan, $40 billion to Pakistan. It's a plan exclusively designed for them. The World Bank says it's for development, but we know what it will develop. Pakistan's terror factories. Speaking of which, they're bragging about their activities in Bangladesh. Was there a Pakistani hand in Sheikh Hasina's ouster? Did the Lashkar-e-Toiba have a role? We'll tell you what their leader said in a rally. In the US, they're cracking down on Chinese students, but now there's a tricky question the Trump administration faces. Will they expel Xi Jinping's daughter too? Is she studying in Harvard? We'll tell you. Also, why is Moscow pushing for the revival of the Russia-India-China troika? Can Canada break up with the US and join the European security umbrella? How fighting between the Houthis and Israel is escalating with fresh missile attacks. How many jobs has AI taken? How Americans are being scammed into hiring North Korean remote workers.